You hear people, I hear this regularly from the gurus who talk about businesses, and restaurants are at the top of the list when they say, these always fail, this doesn't do well. What do you think has kept Crave open?
We try to stay fresh. We try to stay consistent. We try to have a great team, which we do, who provides great customer service. The community keeps us open. And I just think it's one of those businesses that people want. So the continued support also keeps it open.
I think because you're creating a unique experience because regardless if we're talking about travel or what people are doing when they're not traveling, people are looking for this. What's something different we could do today? They're looking for this unique experience to kind of excite them. And going into Crave kind of gives you that unique experience you might not get somewhere else. And your decision to kind of go against the grain and be something that's open later that isn't a bar, I think has really helped your business because there aren't a lot of people doing that. There's nowhere else to go unless you're drinking.
Yeah, and that's true. And that in itself was a risk because that's not something that people were used to. But we've seen, now COVID changed it a little. We used to be open till midnight, and COVID changed it slightly. When we reopened, we started 11 p.m. was our cutoff because there's some things that negatively didn't go back to normal, and one of those is that when you're out between 11 p.m. and midnight, you don't see as many people out. A lot of gas stations started closing earlier even after that. And so it's been, I think the other thing too is that we didn't anticipate how many teenagers would come because parents know it's a safe place that their teens can come. Now, it's not necessarily a teen hangout, but after a football game or after theater or a movie,
it's a good meeting.
Yeah, parents know that their kids are going to be safe there, and it's going to be a good environment that they can trust that their kids can go and extend their night also.
I love that. And so shifting gears a little bit, you opened your first business at 21, and you've kind of been a serial entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You were a young mom. You've been married for how many years?
34 years.
34 years. That's amazing. And now that you're a grandmother, what's something you're working on that you're excited about now? How have things changed a little bit as you've grown and matured in owning a business and your kids are getting a little older?
What I'm working on now is finding ways to make not just Crave, but anything we're doing sustainable for my kids and for my grandkids. I hope that Crave is going to be that business. We do have, all of our kids went to college for different things, but 2 of them have stayed with us and made it their full-time job.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
How amazing is that?
I anything that we're working on, we're trying to build it so that it is a sustainable business for our family and for our kids and for our grandkids. And so being a serial entrepreneur and having too many ideas in my head sometimes, I've had to learn to rein myself in and think, okay, does this go along with other things we do? Is this something that my kids are going to want to participate in when I retire? And try to make sure things stay in the right, I'm trying to think of the word,
So I read a book a few years ago, and it told a story about an Olympic rowing team that was not supposed to win. And as they were training, they had this coach that was really tough on them. And the coach made them ask themselves, if you're going to go out to dinner tonight, does that make the boat go faster? If you're going to go to the movies with your friends, is that going to make the boat go faster? If you're going to make whatever decision it is, ask yourself, does this make the boat go faster? And as visionaries in a business, I feel like it's so tough to not get shiny object syndrome and distracted by those other dreams that we have. And I like to use that story to remind myself when I'm figuring out the exact same things you're talking about to say, does this decision make the boat go faster, or is this a distraction? Does this make the boat go faster? And I think it's such a great visual for where you're at and what you're trying to figure out, because it would be really easy in your stage of life to do some other things that interest you. But if you're truly that passionate about being a generational business, like that focus of does this make the boat go faster is so strong.
That is such a great concept, and it's one that I'm going to regret that you've said, because my husband is going to listen to this, and I can't tell you now how many times I'm going to have to hear.
He's going to say, does this make the boat go faster?
And he is going to ask, yes. And it's a great concept, because I am the type, a few years ago, I think we've got about 6 businesses right now, and I had about 10, and there were things that were not making my boat go faster because they didn't line up with our vision for our future and our kids' future. And so that's actually a great concept.
So for the girls that I coach, before we start taking action on whatever it is that they want to do, we make them do an exercise, because I think it's really easy. We're primarily real estate investors, and it's really easy to come in and say, I want to buy an RV park. I want to have a short-term rental. I want to, buy an apartment complex. And we always say, why? And then they say, because it makes great money. No, why do you want to make money? And if we get back to that, my why, I have 5 homeschool kids. I want more time to be mama. So if I had to go have a regular day job, that would not be more time to be mama, right? So how have you made sure that your life is set up in a way that continues with your why so that it doesn't take over? Because sometimes having a business like Crave can take over your life, and the business you choose, the real estate you invest in, it's got to be aligned with your life. Otherwise, you're just getting another job.
I think for me personally, what we do now lines up with our why, because for one thing, we love being able to give something to our community. And I know that it's not free and it's not a nonprofit, but we are giving an experience to our community with Crave business particularly. And then the other thing is that we're able to connect with people. We love relationships. We love building relationships. We love meeting new people and seeing how they fit in our life and how we fit in their life. And then providing opportunities. Our primary age for employment at any of our businesses is college age. And so we love being able to be that first place for them. And they'll tell anybody that's worked for us will tell you that we've also tried to teach them life lessons. Like, if nobody, you may have never learned this before, but when you work for a job, this is what you do. And we talk to them like a mom or a dad. And so that's also lined up with who we are, of kind of mentoring, because we both do actually mentor. So this business has been perfect to line up with a lot of our whys for some of those reasons.